Okay, let us start with analyzing rectifiers and filters. So let us first consider the half-wave rectifier. So I'm writing a source AC with amplitude as 230 volt with 50 Hertz frequency, and this is connected to the primary of the transformer. Secondary of the transformer having lesser terms will result in 10 volt RMS. So let us write the half-wave rectifier circuit using this resistor, and of course this is this is diode and this is the resistor, and we are looking at what is the voltage that we may get over here. So this is the output voltage V0. Suppose if you consider this as the input voltage V in, and if I write we can write the ideal as well as the typical graphs. Suppose if I write this as my input waveform. So when I say input waveform, it is at this point with an amplitude of 10 volt RMS. The peak voltage happens to be 10 into root 2. So this is V in. This is with respect to time. So I'm writing V in. So I can write V0 also. V0 considering the diode as ideal diode, so it overlaps with this input voltage, because we are considering that this is acting like a closed switch without any cut-in voltage, and this is how it just overlaps. So this is how the output looks. It's exactly overlapping in that. Suppose if we consider a typical diode having this is V0 for typical case where we have some cut-in voltage. So till 0.7 it won't conduct, then afterwards it is conducting. You can see it is slightly down the input voltage, and of course the negative half cycle it is off. So this continues like this. Of course I'm not writing similar waveforms here, so this is a freehand sketch. So this is what is the input and output waveforms with only rectification. Suppose if I want to write the transfer characteristics of this one, so I can write what is V in here on the x-axis and V0 here on the x-axis, on the y-axis. If you write the reference line something like this, for considering the ideal case, so the negative half cycle, this is 0, this negative half cycle, it is the output voltage is 0. Let me draw it using this is output voltage 0, and then you can see it just goes along with the input voltage. This is the for the ideal diode. So if you consider a typical diode, then till VD on, that is till 0.7 volt, it will be off, and then it goes like this. So at each and every point there is a separation of VD on, which will be typically 0.6 to 0.7 volts depending on the diode. If you are considering a diode which is silicon, it is made out of silicon, then it is 0.6 to 0.7. If it is of germanium, it is 0.3, 0.25 to 0.35 volts. That is what is the difference. And the DC voltage over here, VDC, will be given by V peak by pi. So this is the DC voltage you're going to get under ideal case. Under the typical case, it will be VDC is equal to VP minus VD on by pi. So this is the ideal case, and this is in case of typical MOSFET. This is considering it as a pure sine wave. Now if I add a filter, you can see if I put a capacitor over here like this, so if this is my capacitor, this is C. If I write V0 now, okay, let us forget about that ideal case. Let us consider the typical case where you have some so this is how it looks. So during of course you can analyze this when the diode is conducting, when the diode is not conducting. So when the diode is conducting, you can see this is your capacitor, this is the capacitor what we have, and we have the source in the form of the secondary of the transformer, and in between that I'm going to have the diode, which is represented by something like this. You have this switch is closed. When this switch is closed and this is of VD on, you can see now of course this is what is the voltage, and this switch what we are considering will have some resistance. Let us consider that as forward resistance RF. Now this is your capacitor. Now this capacitor starts charging towards this voltage, that is Vp minus Vd on, through this RF. So it will going to have some time constant tau charge, which will be proportional to RF into C. since the value of RF, which is the forward resistance of the transist of the diode, will be in terms of few tens of ohms, so even though this is in terms of what is hundreds of microsecond, hundreds of microfarad, the entire product will be still in terms of microsecond. Since we know that the frequency what we are operating is 50 hertz, which is pretty large in time, because 50 hertz corresponds to 20 millisecond. Suppose if you say this is 20 millisecond is the value of t for one cycle. This is, if you consider this as t, which is equal to 20 millisecond for 50 hertz. If the value of C is equal to 100 microfarad, you can see this comes out to be, so 1000 microsecond. So 1000 microsecond happens to be hardly 1 millisecond. You can see 1 millisecond is very small compared to this, okay, 20 millisecond, meaning that the charging time constant is pretty low. So this charging time constant is low, so that means the capacitor will charge instantaneously whenever the diode is on. So since the diode is on here, so it is charging, it is keep on going like this. It will go up to Vp minus Vd on. So the capacitor will charge up to Vp minus Vd on will be Vc max, will be Vc max. So once the capacitor reaches here, because we know that as the input voltage reduces, this voltage reduces. Assume that you have Vp minus Vd on. We can also exactly get to know what is the exact magnitude of Vp minus Vd on, so that I can able to quantify what are the values. Suppose if Vp is, okay, 10 into root 2, okay, minus of 0.7, you can see now it is 13.4 volt, 13.4 volt. So this is also the peak. So assume that if this input voltage start reducing, when the input voltage start reducing and it goes below 13.4 volt, we know that this is like a diode. You have 13.4 volt, here it is less than 13.4 volt magnitude. Can you see this diode turns off? Once this diode turns off, we will going to have a circuit something like this. So this is when D is on. D is on. When D is off, you're going to have a circuit something like this. You have the secondary of the transformer. Since the switch is off here, of course you had this R also here. This R is also there. And of course, let me now see. Let us have this R, whatever R I had, let me just write it. And here you have this C. So this was charged to 13.4 volt, and once it turns off, so when does this turns off? This turns off when the voltage here start reducing, because when the P of the transistor, so of the diode, goes lesser than the N of the diode, so this diode is get reverse bias. Once it get reverse bias, it is represented by a open switch. Once it is open, the capacitor doesn't have a path towards this point through this, because it is off. Even if you consider a typical case, you're going to have a very high resistance RR, that is reverse bias resistance, which is in terms of hundreds of kilo ohms. But this is in terms of, if you can see, this is the value of R, which is in terms of 1 or 2 kilo ohms. So whatever charge that was stored in capacitor, we try to discharge through this resistor instead of going through this part. So we are going to have tau discharge is now proportional to the value of C and the resistor, this resistor R. So this is what your tau discharge. Since this if you can see, this is the value of R, this is the value of C. If you just see what is tau discharge is, so the tau discharge, of course, as we found that tau charge was in terms of millisecond, so let us see, of course it was 1 millisecond. Let us see what is tau discharge is equal to. Is it not equal to 100 microfarad multiplied by 1 kilo ohm? So this happens to be something like, okay, 100 millisecond, meaning the time constant or the time required for your capacitor to discharge, it takes longer time, meaning it won't discharge like this whenever the diode is off. Now you can see it is slowly discharging, can you see it is now keep on slowly discharging, and then it goes down till this point. It can't go down here because at this point of time the input voltage is there. this will make this to go again high. It again goes like this, goes to peak and then again comes down. This is what the type of waveform you're going to get once you connect a capacitor to this rectifier circuit. So it charges along with this and then keep on discharging. So it won't discharge till the end, because somewhere in that path, so you're going to have the input again increasing. So once the voltage at P becomes more than the voltage at N, the capacitor starts charging. So again, while charging, it is RS into C, RF into C is the time constant. While discharging, it is this resistor. Okay, this is your discharge path, this is your charging path, this is your charging path. So we have two different paths. Charging path resistance is less, the discharge path resistance is more. It takes more time to discharge, but it takes lesser time to charge. That's why it is charging almost instantaneously, it is discharging slowly, instantaneously, slowly. Now let us try to understand what will be the voltage at which what will be the voltage does capacitor will take at this point and this point. Let us quantify that. So for that, let us take a complete detailed waveform, and then, so let me just redraw it. I will write the half-wave rectified signal. Okay, let me write the full sine wave, 1 cycle or 1.5 cycle. So let me write the typical waveform whenever you consider a typical diode. Can you see now it is this? So till Vp, till Vd on, till the input voltage exceeds Vd on here, this is actually Vd on. If the input voltage exceeds Vd on, then only your output is going there. So this is what is Vp, and this voltage is Vp minus Vd on. So now let us see, okay, what happens to your capacitor voltage. Now you can see capacitor is charging like this. It is charging instantaneously along with the input voltage, goes till the peak, and then from here it is keep coming down till this point, and then again increases till the peak, then it goes down. So this is how it continues, and this is on x-axis, it is T. So let me consider this as V out. This is the output voltage of the capacitor. So since it is the voltage across the capacitor, now we can consider V out. V out instantaneously with respect to time. I can write it as, because you can see this capacitor is exponentially discharging here, and then it again charges, exponentially discharges. So I can say the expression for capacitor. Now you can think that, okay, we are interested in what happens over here, what happens during this period. So during this period the capacitor is actually discharging. So when the capacitor is discharging, at the starting of the discharge time, what is the voltage the capacitor will going to have? The capacitor will going to have an initial voltage of Vp minus Vd on. So at this time of t is equal to T1, the capacitor voltage is Vp minus Vd on. We are interested in what is the magnitude of your capacitor voltage during this period. So for that we are trying to write what is V out with respect to time, that is over during this discharge period. So we start with the initial voltage of the capacitor at that point of diode. When the diode goes off, is it equal to Vp minus Vd on? It is Vp minus Vd on. Since we know that the capacitor discharges exponentially, I will write it as Vp minus Vd on exponential minus T by Rc, minus T by Rc. Of course, this is how the capacitor is keep discharging. Now I'm interested in knowing what is this voltage at the, okay, let me just write this time as T2, let me write this time as T3. See now, if you consider the whole cycle, so this is T1 to T3. Shall I say T3 minus T1 is equal to 1 over the frequency or the time period of that sine wave. So this is, you can see from here to here. You can see this is one peak, this is the other peak. So separation between the two peaks is nothing but 1 over the frequency, which is equal to t. Now if we can clearly observe these two things, is T2, is it not, of course it is not actually too far away from T3. So you can still consider T2 as almost equal to T3 because these two are very close to each other. So what we are interested is we want to know what is the voltage difference between V out when T is equal to T1 and V out when T is equal to T2. So if I want to know what is the ripple voltage, so I want to know what is the meaning of ripple voltage. You can see the voltage ripples from here to here, it goes again and then it goes down here, and then if it continues, you can see this is how your ripple voltage is there. I want to know what is the peak to peak of this ripple voltage. That is, ripple voltage is given by V out at T is equal to T1 minus V out at T is equal to T2. Is this, suppose if this is X source, if this is Y volt, V ripple is X minus Y. I'm just trying to know what is those two values. So let us consider this T is equal to 0, because assume that okay, this is the 0th time where you're trying to find out. So what is V out when T is equal to 0? So wherever T is there, substitute it as 0. Or before that, what I'll do is, we know that this is the value of T, which is this time, and since the value of RC time constant is less, I can write e power minus T by RC as equal to 1 minus T by RC, 1 minus T by RC. So this comes from, okay, let me just write it here. If it is e power minus x, I can write it as 1 minus x, where x is far less than 1, which is true in this case also. You can see this is T, this is RC. Since RC is very less compared to T, I will write it as 1 minus T by RC, 1 minus T by RC. So let me just come down here. Okay, let me again rewrite. V out of T is nothing but Vp minus Vd on into 1 minus small t by RC. Suppose if you want to find what is V out at 0, that is what is the voltage at T is equal to 0, is it not Vp minus Vd on? This is the voltage at this point, so which is true also here. Now I am interested in finding what is V out when T is equal to T2, when T is equal to T2. Since we know that this T2 and T3 are not too far away, I will write this as almost equal to V out at T3. V out at T3. Instead of taking it at T2, I will take it at T3. The advantage of taking it at T3, of course, it is going to simplify my calculation, because from this 0 to this T3, the total time that is elapsed is equal to 1 over the frequency, that is T. So what I'll do is, wherever the value of small t is there, I will replace it by capital T. So is it now equal to, so I'm looking at V out at T3 is approximately is equal to Vp minus Vd on into 1 minus T by RC. I'm just simply replacing in this V out of T, this T by capital T. But what I'm interested in now is what is V ripple. I'm interested in what is V ripple, which is nothing but V out when T is equal to T1. So when, of course, you are saying that okay, T is equal to T1 corresponds to 0. Is it not equal to Vp minus Vd on, this is one term, minus of V out at T3. Of course, this we wrote it as T2. We are assuming T2 is almost equal to T3. Is it not Vp minus Vd on into 1 minus T by RC? This is what is the ripple voltage. If you simplify this, you can see you have, okay, let me just redo it here. So I have, because we are trying to find what is the ripple voltage, okay, let me just write it here itself. uh, V ripple is equal to Vp minus Vd on minus of Vp minus Vd on minus Vp minus Vd on into capital T by Rc. This is what you have. So this will go with this. So finally V ripple is equal to Vp minus Vd on into T by Rc. So this T I can write it as 1 over the frequency. So this finally reduces to Vp minus Vd on by Frc. This is V ripple. This is expression for ripple voltage. That means to say whatever this is what we call it as V ripple now. So I will write from here to here, because we actually found the ripple voltage as the voltage difference between of output voltage at T is equal to T1 and T is equal to T2 to be exactly, but we approximated this time to be T3 because this is a very negligible time compared to this whole time. So that's why I will say this V ripple voltage is approximately equal to the voltage at this point and voltage at, suppose if you extend this, this will come till here, this will come till here. So you are making some modification or some compromisation here, because to make sure that this is simplified here. So V ripple voltage of a half wave rectifier with filter is given by Vp minus Vd on divided by Frc, where F is the frequency of the signal, because F corresponds to 1 over this time, whatever time, the value of R and the value of C. If you just come down here, it depends on what the frequency of the signal, the ripple voltage, the value of R and the value of C. And of course you can see here uh, the ripple voltage purely depends, is proportional to the peak voltage, but it is inversely proportional to frequency, resistance and the value of C. Of course we can do one such design. Suppose if the secondary of the transformer, suppose if I say secondary voltage of a transformer is 6 volt 6 volt, and the value of R is equal to 1 kilo ohm. uh, find C for a ripple voltage of maybe 200 millivolt. Suppose if you want to have a ripple voltage of 200 millivolt, we are asked to find the value of C. So for that we can certainly write the circuit diagram, because whenever such problem is given, of course you can also assume that Vd on is equal to 0.6 volts. The circuit that corresponds to this is over here like this. So this is 6 0 6 here, and you have this half wave rectifier, you have this resistor, and you have this capacitor. This is the value of C, this is R, this is 6 volt, and of course even though this is not given as 230 volt 50 hertz AC, and of course you can always assume that under Indian conditions or under Indian specifications the frequency is always 50 hertz, because only in American European countries the frequency can be 60 hertz, but in India it is frequency is 50 hertz, which will never change. You just go from one place to other place. So we will going to have the expression or the waveform would be something like this. We're going to have this as the half wave rectified signal. If you consider this is Vp minus Vd on, this is Vp minus Vd on, so it goes till here and then it comes down here, and then this is what is. So this is, we are looking out to be 200 millivolt only. This is hardly 200 millivolt. You are asked to find the value of C, which results in hardly 200 millivolt. So we got the expression for V ripple as equal to 200 millivolt which is actually expected, is nothing but Vp minus Vd on by FRC. We know this, we know this, we know this, we know this. This is the only parameter that need to be found. So what is Vp now? Vp is nothing but the peak voltage. So if you look at this, it is 606. This is actually a voltage of 12 volt RMS. 12 volt RMS. So when it is 12 volt RMS, peak voltage happens to be 12 into root 2, which happens to be, I can find out, 12 into root 2 is 16.9 volt is the Vp, and Vd on we consider as 0.6 volt. Now we can actually find out what is the value of C. So it is 200 exponential minus 3 alpha equals Vp is okay, let me just again do one more parenthesis. 16.9 minus 0.6 divided by F is 50 Hertz into 1 exponential 3 into alpha A, that is the value of C. Shift cal, I'll get the value of C directly. So it is now 1.63 millifarad, or you can write it as C is equal to 1630 microfarad. The capacitance that is required to get a ripple voltage of hardly 200 millivolt, you require a capacitor of 1630 microfarad, which is typically possible. You'll get capacitors of thousands of microfarad. You'll get it. You may have to just put them in parallel so that you'll get 1630 microfarad. So this is how you can able to calculate the value of capacitance for the desired ripple voltage. Suppose that you have one more example where you have the of course you can just come back and then do the design. Okay, let us say secondary of a transformer is 12 and the value of R is equal to 10k, or maybe the value of R is equal to 100 ohm and the value of C is equal to 1000 microfarad. If you are asked to find what is V ripple, it is straightforward. I can find the value of V ripple, which is nothing but Vp minus Vd on by FRC. So this comes out to be, since it is 12012 transformer, so it is 24 into root 2 minus of 0.6, so that will be 33.34 divided by F is 50, R is 100 into C is 1000 exponential minus 6, so it comes out to be 6 volt. V ripple is 6.66 volt, so which is pretty large. You're going to have a large ripple. This is how you can able to effectively find out the value of V ripple voltage. Here given the V ripple, how to find the value of C. Next we shall just move on to full wave rectifier, and how does this equation of V ripple will change for full wave rectifier. It's a very simple modification from this half wave rectifier to full wave rectifier in terms of finding out the ripple voltage. Okay, let me just write the circuit of full wave rectifier. So again we're going to have the primary of the transformer having more turns, which is usually 230 volt 50 hertz AC signal. I'm going to have the secondary written. Since it is a full wave rectifier, I'm going to have a center tap also here. This is the diode D1, D2. Let me say this is D1, this is D2. These two are connected like this, and you have the load here. It is R. This is assume that it is 6 volt, 0, 6 volt. So if you consider the input voltage at this point, so if you consider this as your waveform, at this point it is something like this. This is at, if you say this is A, at this point B, it is exactly the mirror image. So it will be exactly the reverse. It will be exactly the reverse. So let me just write that also. The waveform at B would be something like this. B would be something like this. Now you can see when the input is when the input at A is going high, can you see is the diode D1 is on. Since D1 is on, the current that is supposed to come here, the current flows this way because D1 is forward biased, and then it goes back from here and then it is completing its path. So this is the path. You can see this is going in this direction when it is positive half cycle, correct? During positive half cycle, this is the flow of current through D1 and through a resistor and back to 0 volt. If you actually write the waveform, if you again consider VD on, so I will just go like this. It goes up like this and then comes down here till first half cycle. Then during negative half cycle, can you see here? Of course, negative half cycle, this is off. Of course, if you want to write, okay, this is the brown one for D2. You can see now it is on here. D1 is off. D1 is off here. Suppose if you write it for D2, so for D2, when this A was positive, this was actually negative. So what you have, you will have the output voltage is 0 due to D2. So due to D2 it is 0 because it is reverse bias. But over here at this point, so whenever the voltage at this point is positive, this starts conducting. You can see when this starts conducting, does the current flow like this? So this is the flow of current. Can you see here? It goes like this, and then back here. So in both the cases, whether it is positive half cycle of A or positive half cycle of B, instead of writing positive half cycle of B, shall I write it as negative half of A? During negative half of A, can you see this blue line is also flowing in the same direction as it was the brown line? Since the current flowing is in the same direction, whenever you are measuring the output voltage at this point, it exactly looks like this. So this blue one is due to D2. The brown one was due to D1. It doesn't matter the output voltage whether you're getting it due to D1 or D2. If you actually find the output voltage at this resistor R underground, you'll exactly see the waveform is actually going like this. So the output waveform would be this, going up here like this, comes down, again goes up, comes down. That is, during either the positive half cycle or negative half cycle, you will going to get a waveform which is always on the positive side, always on the positive side. So if you want to write the transfer characteristics of that, if this is V0, if this is V in, this is V0 V in, till V gamma, it is, you can see it's off here, it's off. So this is VD on this side, and it is VD on the other side, that is minus VD on. Till that point it is 0, then it is just goes like this. So this is how we're going to get it. So this is from 0 to VD on, both the transistors are off. Here it is also, it's off. Now assume that if you put a capacitor here, because we are interested in getting a there is a lot of ripple here. Okay, for this particular circuit, the VDC, the output voltage without this capacitor, would be VDC is equal to for an ideal case it is 2 Vp by pi. 2 Vp by pi, that is for an ideal case if you consider diode to be having no cut-in voltage, but for the practical voltages it is 2 times Vp minus Vd on by pi. So this is Vp minus Vd on one case, this is another Vp minus Vd on. It's actually 2 times Vp minus Vd on by, it's like okay, having two half-wave rectifiers connected one side by side. This happens to be 2 times Vp minus Vd on by pi. So this is the typical DC voltage or the average voltage of this full wave rectifier signal in case of a typical diode. Now we are talking about what will be the ripple voltage that will going to exist if I put a capacitor. We know that, as we discussed in the previous case also, once we put the capacitor, so what happens here is that this voltage whatever you had, so this will while charging, as we discussed here, it is going along with this, it is perfectly going along with this. Once the diode D1 turns off, so D2 is already off, it goes like this. Can you see now it is going like this? Then it goes up here, then it comes. So we are interested in what is this ripple voltage. What is this ripple voltage? So we are interested in what is this ripple voltage. Whether it is full wave rectifier or the half wave rectifier, can you see while charging it was, this is your charging path. This is your charging path for the capacitor. The discharge path is this. So this is the charging path of the capacitor when D1 is on. When D2 is on, this is the path. You can see this is the same path, same direction, but only through what it charges changes. Either it is through D1 or D2. If it is through D1, it is the resistance associated with this diode D1 into C will be the time constant. If you consider D2, it will be again through this forward resistance of the diode D2 and the capacitance C. So while discharging, you can see when both are off, this has to discharge through R. You can see this is the discharge path. This is the discharge path. If you can clearly notice this, as we had it earlier, if I write it as this is T1, this as to T2 and this as T3, as we did it in the previous case, T1, T2, T3. T2 is the point where till it is being get discharged, and T3 is again the next peak. Can you see here? This is T2, T3. T2 is the point at which it again starts charging. T3 is again the next peak where you'll get. So as we did over there, so shall I write the ripple voltage as V out at T is equal to T1 minus V out at T is equal to T2 to be exactly, or approximately I can write it as V out at T1. When I say approximately, I will just take this time almost close to this. It is V out at T3 at T3. So as we found in the earlier case, the only difference is, you can see the same time constant, same capacitor, everything is same, except that if you consider this as 0, of course as we did here also, this was 0. What was the time that we considered for this T3? Did we not consider it as capital T? If you can see here, this is this time, the T3 minus T1. T3 minus T1, we put it as equal to capital T because this is almost equal to same. But here, what is this separation from T1 to T3 now? You can see now this is just the half cycle. So from this peak to this peak, you can see here, this is the peak of input voltage, this is the second peak of the same waveform. But here if you can see here, this is first peak, this is second peak. Whatever peak that you are getting here is actually the peak of the negative the inverted waveform here. So typically speaking, the separation between this T1 and T3 is actually T by 2, half of T. It is half of T. So in this expression, wherever you had V ripple is equal to Vp minus Vd on minus Vp minus Vd on T by Rc, this T will no more be T, it will be T by 2. It will be T by 2. So what I'll do, so this is again I will write V ripple is equal to, okay, when you consider this equal to 0, so it is the voltage when the capacitor is initially charged, so it is Vp minus Vd on, and this is at T is equal to T3, and as we discussed over here, suppose if you substitute this T3 and of course this whatever T3 you had, whatever this T you have, instead of replacing it by capital T, you replace it by T by 2. So it is Vp minus Vd on into T by 2 into Rc. T by 2 into Rc. So of course we have it as I think it is 1 minus Vp. That's what you have. Can you see 1 minus T by 2? So upon doing all these things, so does this V ripple approximately become equal to Vp minus Vd on by T by 2RC, or can I write it as equal to Vp minus Vd on by 2FRC. This is expression. This is the extra term that you are getting. It is 2 times FRC in the denominator instead of simply FRC. So if you can certainly notice that for the same peak voltage Vd on the value of R, C and F, the ripple voltage of a full wave rectifier, is always half of the ripple voltage of a half wave rectifier. Can you see there is a term divided by 2? So there is a term divided by 2 here. This makes the ripple voltage of the full wave rectifier always half compared to the ripple voltage of the half wave rectifier with filter, with all the values remaining same. So maybe we can do one such design over here. Or let us consider the secondary of the transformer. Let me write the circuit diagram. So let us try to find out. This is 505 transformer. I will have this diode. I'll have another diode here. So this will, they are connected now here, and I'm going to have a resistor of 100 ohm, and I'll have a capacitor. Okay, let me find the value of C for a V ripple of 100 millivolt or maybe 500 millivolt. I want to have 500 millivolt ripple. I'm looking for what the value of C. So let us assume that Vd on is equal to 0.7 volt. So since I'm looking at this is 230 volt AC 50 Hertz, V ripple is given by Vp minus Vd on by 2 FRC, because this is a full wave rectifier. What is Vp? The peak voltage is 5 into root 2 minus 0.7 by 2 into frequency is 50 into 100 into value of C. So I'm looking at 500 milli. So I can certainly find the value of C now. The value of C comes out to be, okay, why it is 5 into root 2 is because the peak voltage at this point is not it's not 10 into root 2, because you're considering this is the reference and this is the voltage. Whereas in case of this one, we didn't use this at all. The reference voltage, the entire voltage was 12 volt. This was the reference. When this is the reference, the entire voltage is 12 volt RMS. But in case of full wave rectifier, since you are considering this as the reference, the Vp becomes only 5 into root 2. Whereas in the previous case, you can see it was 12 into root 2. So that was actually, it was actually 12 into root 2 was your Vp. So this is a small change you should clearly observe. 5 okay, it is 500 exponential minus 3 alpha equals, open the parenthesis, more open, okay, 5 root 2 minus of 0.7 divided by 2 into 50 into 100 into alpha a, close, shift can. You can see the value of C that is required is, I require 1.27 millifarad, which is nothing but 1270 microfarad capacitor. This is the value of C. So with this specification, I can able to get a ripple voltage of hardly 500 millivolt if the value of C is 1270 microfarad. So this way we can able to find what is the required value of C for a given circuit, for a given full wave rectifier. On the same lines, we can do it for bridge circuit also. Let me write it for the bridge circuit. So it is again very simple. Only thing is that there is a small change in your expression for V ripple, otherwise it is the same. So let me write the bridge rectifier circuit. So this is my bridge rectifier. So which will again give, okay, here I'm going to apply This is connected here. This is the secondary of the transformer. It doesn't require any center tapped secondary. This is 230 volt AC signal. Assume that this is 0 and 6 volt. Here I will get the resistor R. This is D1, D2, D3, D4. Okay, let us see during positive half cycle. So let me just write the positive half cycle of the waveform. I will write this is my positive half cycle. This is again negative, and again more positive. This is Vin. This is Vn. Now during the positive half cycle, you can see this is positive, this is plus, and you can see this is negative and this is negative. Can you see during positive half cycle only D1 and D4 will conduct. D4 will conduct. And to that they will conduct only when the input voltage crosses the cut-in voltage of this and this, meaning unless the input voltage is twice the VD on, because it has to overcome two diodes. If you can see here, this is your connection. If I can write the path how the current may flow, this is how the current is flowing. This is the direction. This is the direction through this resistor, again through this D4. It will complete the path. Can you see? It has started from this transformer going through D1 through resistor, and then you can see this is not going to D2. So it is going through this line and then going back to transformer. So this is the direction in which the current is flowing through this resistor during positive half cycle. This is during positive half cycle input. So during negative half cycle, you can see this is positive and this is negative, correct? So when this is positive, can you see this is getting positive. Now the current now try to flow like this. So this is how the current is flowing now. Of course this is off, because when it is negative, so this negative is going to make this off. Can you see now this is now moving like this, Can you see now this is what? This is negative, and this is negative, this will again conduct. Can you see now this is conducting. When this conducts, you can see it just goes here and then goes back to this. Can you see in both the cases the current is flowing in the same direction. The current through resistor is flowing in the same direction. That's why the output voltage will going to conduct only when the input voltage is more than 2 times VD1. 2 times VD1. You can see now till 2 times VD1 output voltage 0. Then it increases. Here it is keep going like this. Comes down. Again here it is negative half cycle also. It is conducting. Negative half cycle it is due to D2 and D3. These two are the resistors. So these two are the diodes which are conducting. And of course that cycle repeats. That cycle will actually repeat. So is this waveform similar to that of a fully rectified signal? Fully rectified signal, it is perfectly similar to this, but only difference is here this was VP, this was VP minus VD on, whereas in this case this is, if you consider this as VP, this is VP minus 2 VD on, because it has to overcome the two cut-in voltages, because both the resistors are coming in series. Now we'll again find what is V ripple. So V ripple, of course, now what I'll do, I'll put a capacitor. Okay, before I go for V ripple, we can actually find what is VDC. For an ideal case, it is V2 VP by pi, or is it equal to in a typical case 2 times VP minus 2 VD on, correct, by pi. It is 2 times VP minus 2 VD on by pi is the VDC theoretical voltage. VDC, not theoretical, the practical case where you're considering diode to be non-ideal. So ripple voltage, as we found out there. So case once you put the capacitor, will it go like this? It just goes along with this till here, then discharges, again charges, discharges. This is, if you consider this as T1, this is T2, this is T3. So as we did in the earlier case, V ripple is V out at T1 minus V out at T2. To be exactly, approximately it is V out at T1, which is equal to 0, minus V out at T3, which is half of this is what, capital T by 2. Capital, this is half of the waveform. So actually this is capital T, this is capital T, so that is full time, this is half of the time. So shall we write this as equal to, now you can see the peak voltage is not Vp minus Vd on, it's actually Vp minus 2 Vd on. So it is now Vp minus 2 Vd on minus of Vp minus 2 Vd on into 1 minus T by 2 Rc. Upon simplifying all those things, V ripple will be equal to Vp minus 2 Vd on by 2 Frc. So this is a ripple voltage. This is a ripple voltage in case of bridge plus filter. Bridge plus filter. Bridge plus filter. Only difference is here it is Vp minus 2 Vd on, because why it is 2 Vd on is because two diodes are coming in series when they are conducting, whether you consider the positive half cycle or negative half cycle. This is how the voltage is going to change. Of course, you can similarly consider one such design for this also. Just to summarize, of course, we can write the circuit of half wave rectifier, full wave rectifier, and bridges. Maybe you can still consider what is that, a center tap transformer in general. So what I can do is, let me have the circuit diagram of this is my, because you don't require a center tap transformer, just to have what commonness, I'm just using this center tap transformer. So this is my resistor, this is my capacitor, this is RC, this is V in 230 volt AC signal, this is some X0 X volt. You can write the expression for VDC. Typical value is Vp minus Vd on by pi. V ripple approximately equal to Vp minus Vd on by FRC. If I write it for the full wave rectifier, for full wave rectifier, center tap is a must. I should, let me just use a different color. You can see these two are shorted. You have a resistor coming down here, and that in turn is connected to this resistor R. I'm going to have a capacitor C here. This is your V0, this is again V0. Say this is D1, D2. VDC typical value is Vp minus, okay, just Vd on, not 2 Vd on. It is Vp minus Vd on by pi, 2 times of that. Why means because this is conducting for one half cycle, this is conducting for other half cycle, it is twice the. Then what is V ripple? Actually you can see VDC will double, whereas V ripple will reduce by 2. It is Vp minus Vd on by 2 Frc. This is again 230 volt AC signal source. If you write, this is for the full wave rectifier. VDC is typical means, okay, if you consider the diode as a non-ideal case. For the second full wave rectifier with bridge, this is how it looks. So you have the bridge circuit. So one is going here, the other one is, okay, so this dark line indicates that, this dot indicates that there is a connection. You can see there is no dot, means there is no connection here. This is again R, this is the value of C. If you measure V0, it is similar to this, only thing is that here that Vd on will become 2 Vd on. So VDC typical becomes 2 times Vp minus 2 Vd on by pi, whereas V ripple is Vp minus 2 Vd on by 2 Frs. These are the expressions for the wave, circuit diagram and the corresponding DC voltage, the ripple voltage expression for half-wave rectifier, this is full wave rectifier, and this is a FET circuit. Okay, fine. Hopefully, I think all of you could be able to understand all these things. We'll see in the next video. We'll see the regulators.